Want great pay and lots of perks? Get a $1,500 sign-on bonus when you join the Verizon retail team in the San Francisco Bay Area now. Help connect customers with the perfect products every time. Apply at Verizon.com/retail-jobs. Verizon is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm a big MMA fan. This touches on one of my biggest pet peeves in MMA, where, a guy has just beaten the shit out of another man for money. And then they do the interview in the octagon, right? Blood still running down his face. And he goes, I want to thank Jesus, without whom this wouldn't be possible. It's like, no. If Jesus is real, he doesn't like this. He doesn't like what you're doing with your time. He would say, hey, maybe you should do something else.
God-awful movie.
Welcome back to the GAMcast, where each week we sample another selection from Christian cinema because good decisions are for pussies. I'm your host, Noah Lugeons, and sitting to my immediate left is an empty chair where Heath usually sits. He's off this week, but sitting 81 miles to my right is my bad friend, Eli Bosnick. Eli, how are you this fine afternoon, sir?
Fantastic. You know who's a great actor?
Who's that?
Gavin Stone. Real chops, that guy.
Yeah, I missed him. And, of course, joining us as well this week is improv comedian and rare returning guest masochist, Devin Heater. Devin, welcome back. We've missed you.
I didn't really miss you guys that much, to be perfectly honest. Like, I sort of forgot about this whole thing, and then Eli was like, you want to do it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, that'd be great.
We are the dentist of podcasting.
Yeah. You know what's weird? I get letters in the mail from dentists I've never been to, like 3 times a year. Like, time to get a cleanup. And I'm like, how do you know?
Saw you on the street the other day. Gross, bro.
They're not wrong. I definitely need to go to the dentist, but they shouldn't know that.
They're getting your information now. It's scary, the metadata shit that's going on. So tell us, Eli, what will we be breaking down today?
We watched The Fight Within. It's an uplifting tale of a young man who punches a Backstreet Boy for Jesus.
And here's a question for both you guys. How bad was this movie?
I mean, I loved it. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. It combined my two biggest things. I'm a huge MMA fan, and boy, do I love it when MMA fighters thank God for helping them beat the shit out of a man in a cage. Because God, really big fan of two guys beating each other to death for money.
No, in my experience, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you liked Rocky 2, but all the acting, plot, and characters made it hard to jerk off to, you will love this movie.
I couldn't say it better myself, I guess. All right, so now, Devin, there's a bit of a common thread in Christian movies that they fuck up the sportsing. Really, like, bad enough to have helmets on basketball players. And, of course, like you said, you're a big MMA fan. I like to watch MMA, but I'm not, like, a huge fan or anything. My knowledge is pretty limited, but it seemed like they did, like, for a Christian movie, an unusually good job with their sportsing. Is that just, like, am I just ignorant of it? Or
it wasn't the worst. Like, there was a lot of, like, they were very, okay, I mean, like, without getting into, like, weird Brazilian jiu-jitsu specifics. There was like a lot of like, they were very good at attacking each other, but no one in this world ever has learned how to stop someone from attacking them. It's like, it's all offense. No one has any defense in this world.
There was a lot of punch trading that didn't seem to be the way I remember MMA, where it was, okay, your turn. All right, my turn. Hey, he skipped my turn. And the ref's like, let him have his turn.
Yeah. It's like, it was like baseball. Like you know, in baseball you get an at bat, and in this world of MMA you get a punching turn.
Well, see, but honestly, though, again, given what we're used to, I was expecting someone to get an at bat at some point, so I was impressed. Now, is there anything you guys would like to nominate this one for being the best at being the worst at?
I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm going to go with best, worst, wisdom from a stranger.
Wow.
Devin, you don't watch nearly as many movies as we do of this type.
This is the only movie I've ever seen. Well, and the other time I was on this podcast, I watched that movie too.
He's seen 2 movies. Devin hates movies.
God, boy, do I ever.
I don't know why people like movies so much. They suck. But there is a trope in these Christian movies we watch of getting wisdom from a wise old man. But in this movie, our protagonist will talk to a homeless man who will not say anything related to the statements that our main character will say, and our main character will not say anything related to what the homeless man will say.
I'm not convinced he's homeless. I just want to put that out there. Like, at no point do we really know that he's homeless. I think he's a millionaire, and everyone just thinks he's homeless.
It would be really awkward if towards the end he was like, hey man, like, let's get you to a shelter. And he was like, what are you talking about? I live right over there. Why do you hang out by the gas station? I'm retired.
I work here,
have a lot to do.
I own the gas station, you piece of crap.
I own the gas. And he just lets this retarded kid buy him pizza. And just, I don't know, you looked pretty punched flat. I thought I was being nice by letting you give me pizza.
That would have been the best ending possible for this film. So, Devin, do you have any best, worst nominations?
Yeah, it's definitely the best, worst sexual tension I've ever seen. Everybody wanted to fuck everybody else in this movie, and it never even came close.
Well, what's funny is I thought the worst sexual tension, the least sexual tension, was between the main character and the love interest.
Oh, no, they weren't interested in each other, no. But the two brothers wanted to, they wanted to get down on each other.
Oh, yeah,
and everybody wants Hayden. He's so handsome.
Everybody wants Hayden, that bad boy.
What a handsome man.
Oh, I'm going to go spray fuck on the side of his Jeep.
It seems to work.
Don't you fucking dare. Too far,
Podcast.
So, no, I'm just going to go with the best, worst moment when I realized, because I watched this on Amazon, usually I watch this on YouTube, and when I realized that the second number was the number of minutes left, not the total number of minutes, this was the best, worst of those moments. That was very sad. Well, Eli's obviously already lotioned up and ready to relive this homoerotic revenge fantasy, and we don't want him drying out, so we'll keep the break brief, and when we come back, we'll break down all the half-naked men rolling around together that is The Fight Within.
Hi, I'm Eli Bosnick. You know, we have a lot of fun here on the God Awful Movies podcast, but sometimes we make jokes that go a little too far. And today, I need to take steps to remedy that. Last week on the show, I said that women from New Jersey weren't attractive. And as a result, almost a dozen of you sent me pictures of your hot wife, some of them in bathing suits. And I would like to sincerely extend my apologies. Your wives are hot, and whoever you trap them in New Jersey is your business. But I take it back, and I apologize. But I'm also a skeptic, and I'm gonna need more pictures of your hot wives. Bonus points if she's choking, or if you're stabbing her. And hey, listeners from Texas, your wives are all ugly. Prove me wrong. Thank you.
Hey, Eli, what are you doing in here with the mics and stuff? There's a game on.
Oh, nothing. We're just, what? We're doing a show? We're doing a show.
Were you jerking off in here?
No?
I bet he was.
And we're back for the breakdown, and we're going to not even get all the way through the logos before we get 10-year-old punchy noises. And we're going to open up on our main character, Logan, working a heavy bag while he thinks back on his troubled childhood.
Yeah, and his dad is Mario, who took way too much HGH.
No, excuse me. His dad is Dan the Beast Severn, UFC Hall of Famer and former heavyweight champion.
Oh, okay.
I think also a tournament champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
so let's get this right.
Let's make sure we really know who we're dealing with here.
Dan the Beast Severn.
And if you're not familiar with Dan the Beast Severn's works, just picture Robert Rodriguez bad guy, and you've pretty much nailed it.
Or Google Dan Severn and find the first link, which says, "Welcome to the Cave of Dan."
That sounds about right.
But dad is abusively, hard on his son, wants him to be a champion fighter like he was.
And it's just a montage of him being mad at Logan for being bad at what I assume is homosexuality practice, right? Because he's, on a dude, but he's not in a dude. I don't really understand.
I gotta say, I've never known a character's name more than in this first scene, because it's just basically, Logan! Logan!
Logan!
At no point was I unclear as to what his character's name was. Although, spoiler, pretty sure that he's called William later in the movie at one moment.
I think you're right. Yes, I think they left one in.
His name is definitely Logan, though.
Also, question, what is Dad's accent? Do we know where Dan the Beast? Is that just getting punched all the time?
Yeah. I think Dan I think is probably, I think he's from Iowa, but but it's a lifetime of getting punched in and dropped on his head.
Yeah. No, I had his accent down as athlete hosting Saturday Night Live accent.
Yep.
And what we're supposed to be learning here is that, dad pushes his son too hard and his son wants to push back, but he just can't. And we're going to finish up that flashback. But first we have to stop to meet Muslim Gimli.
Sure.
I have him as Joe Rogan.
That's great.
We're going to spend a lot of time talking about this particular character. So, yeah, and this is eventually going to turn out to be Logan's brother, Mason, despite them very clearly being different races
and
also,
species.
What's with the, Mason and Logan? Like, that? Whose name is, what the hell's going on with these names in this family?
They went with the whitest names they could find for this movie.
Well,
Mason, Logan, Hayden.
And then
and Hayden is the bad guy, and Hayden rhymes with Satan, and that's not an accident, guys.
Oh,
that's an excellent point.
Also, I want to point out, and we haven't talked about it yet, his brother has a terrible, terrible lisp.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is probably why this man learned to punch for a living, because, there's no way this guy made it through high school without being like, I'm going to have to punch everybody who talked about the way I talk. But is he an MMA fighter, or were they just
let me tell you. I assumed, based on his terrible acting and lisp, that he must have been an MMA fighter, but I didn't recognize him. So I looked it up. No. He is Mike H. Taylor. I found his bio on IMDb. It does not mention the lisp in the bio. It does say, I will read you what it says about him. An established and extremely talented actor, stunt performer, and fight choreographer, Mike Taylor is making a name for himself in the film industry through his unparalleled dedication, skills, and focus.
Is he now?
So, first of all, this is good. But towards the end, it's he's an incredible on-set asset, including staging realistic fight scenes, performing daring stunts, and exhibiting emotionally charged acting.
Charged?
Charged.
He can charge those emotions up nice.
Melancholy is an emotion.
So he's not a famous MMA fighter. They were just like, this guy's got great acting chops. No one will notice the lisp.
Yeah, he just straight up auditioned for this.
So actually, I think it might even be worse than that. We had a listener write in about this movie. He actually wrote in right when the movie came out. And he trains at one of the two gyms where this was filmed.
Gay.
If I understand correctly, this character, who is probably going to listen to this show and eventually kick our asses for all the things that we've said.
Don't listen.
Is an atheist. And if I'm not mistaken, intentionally took a role where he was like, okay, but I don't have to spout any Jesus shit, do I? And you'll notice that he never does. But I think he actually is the guy who owns the gym they were filming in. That's how he got his emotionally charged acting chops.
Mark, turn it off. Turn it off, Mark. Mark, we don't want any. Mark, we're just a couple comedians having a good time, Mark. You don't need to listen to this, man. You're so great.
It's not going to get better. That's all I'm saying, man. If you still are listening, it's not going to get better from here. So now we got to get back to the flashback with Dad. And this is where he he gets frustrated with his dad, and he says, it's all about you. It's not about me. And then they get into a fight, and he punches him right in the heart attack.
And kills his dad.
It's the 5-point palm exploding heart technique. Which I believe is illegal in MMA.
I do believe it's considered a small joint manipulation. Yeah, exactly.
But we should point out, he kills his dad. He straight up kills his dad. And the rest of the movie, every time he reveals that, people will be like, you got to let it go, man. No, you don't. You killed your dad.
Yeah. Well, you punched an old man and the old man died. That's what happens when you punch old men.
That's
even if that old man
is
Dan the Beast Severn. I'm sorry, Dan the Beast Severn. You'll never die.
Well, and even because when he does reveal this later to people, he'll go my dad died of a heart attack. It's right after you punched him in the heart. You have to put that in, because when they give you it's not your fault. You don't understand. I didn't put all the details in there. But yeah, right. Oh, and then of course, now it's time to meet Loretta Love Interest. This character will get named 51 minutes into the movie. She's Emma, But she just shoehorns her way into the movie. She shows up at this MMA fight so that she can asking to put up posters for her charity drive for her church.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Listen, I don't work in a lot of charities, but like when I'm thinking of like where can I put up posters that people will be like, oh, I should donate to that charity. I probably don't think the amateur MMA gym in my neighborhood is full of rich philanthropists. You know who has a lot of money, and care about other people? Guys who can't even professionally beat the shit out of somebody for a living, but just want to do it as a hobby.
I need two things. I need a place where I can fight with no rules and a charity that needs my undying support.
Yes. Well, and they're going so overboard with the charity because she's raising money for like criminal sex slave African orphans. Pick one. Yeah. Just pick one.
Also, if you're wondering what this character looks like, she gets asked why the long face a lot.
Her face should have George Millet's rocket flying into it. Yeah.
If she wore a piece of wood on the top of her head, she's a Halloween costume of a shovel.
I'm trying to make a Seabiscuit joke, but I can't figure it out. Something like she got cast in Seabiscuit as Seabiscuit. I don't know, guys. Listen, they can't all be winners.
So, and I also love too, and this is when I actually fell in love with this character and forgave him for all his terrible acting. When he says, yeah, you can go out and put up your poster. She's like, yeah, these sex slave, criminal, crackhead African orphans that I help are really, really criminally sex slavey. And he's like, all right, you can put them up, but shut up. That's part of the condition is that you shut up.
Yeah, as long as you stop talking.
Yeah, that's actually what he says. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Mason don't give no shits.
Go Mason.
Unless it's like Operation Smile and they can fix Mason's cleft palate.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, well, he was trying to say he didn't give any tits, but right. You couldn't really tell. And now we got to cut to the locker room where Hayden, our main bad guy, is bullying a character we will never return to.
Yeah,
Skippy,
never comes back. Yeah.
And Hayden just behaves. So Hayden is the bad guy, and we're going to learn that Hayden's motivation is that he wants to fight Logan because he was defeated the only time in his career by Logan back when Logan was a fighter. And as a result, Hayden will assault several people, but because it is around an MMA gym, no one will pretend he's committing crimes.
Yeah, it's like a double. It's double. He's committing every time you see him on screen, he commits assault. Like just every time. And like two, everyone in the gym is on Hayden's side, but every time you see him interacting with the people at the gym, they all hate him because he's awful. Yeah. But yet everyone's like, yeah, buddy, but Logan won't fight him, so we're on Hayden's team.
Yes. Got it.
And it strikes me that like setting aside the moral issues of having punched your dad to death, it seems like if you had a I don't fight policy after that, the average person would be rather understanding. Right. That's just my guess. I don't hang around MMA guys, so I don't know. But it seems like, look at that pussy dad killer won't fight,
It does, however, raise the question of why does he still train for MMA if he's got a never gonna fight again policy? Like, do some CrossFit, dude.
I don't think that he's decided not to fight anymore. I think that the athletic commission revoked his license for using the 5-point palm exploding heart technique in the cage and killing his dad.
No, that would make perfect sense. That would be hilarious if at a certain point he's like, no, because they won't even let me do that anymore.
They won't license me because I kill people when I fight them.
I killed my dad.
They fucking die when I fight them.
That's frowned on.
I punch them in the heart and they die.
This isn't the WWE, all right? You can't just kill a guy.
Also, and this is very important that I bring this up now. So Hayden Hayden's given Logan a bunch of shit for being such a pussy dad killer and not wanting to fight him. So Logan storms off, and when he does, he breaks the glass door leading into the gym, which I've got to say is going to be hugely expensive to replace. But at any rate, that was most of the fucking budget for this movie was breaking that door. But that's going to come back later in an amazing fucking way. So I want to mention that. But he's headed off to school, and we have to see, we have this quick scene of where he accidentally kicks over the coffee and gives the guy his bottled water because of it. Just, establish that Logan's a nice guy. He's not just about breaking glass windows and shit.
But here was my problem with this scene is this is now the third scene we've seen Logan in. And in the first scene, he accidentally killed his dad. In the second scene, he smashes a glass door. In the third scene, he kicks over a guy's coffee. I was like, dude, you might have MS. Are you not aware of how your body works, Logan?
Yeah, he's just a very violent Mr. Magoo.
Oh, Mr. Magoo, but super violent.
Mr. Magoo as an MMA fighter.
Oh, I like that shit. Everything's close
I also
up.
like the idea that this is supposed to show us he's a good guy. See how he gave that guy his water after he knocked over the guy's drinks. That doesn't make you a good guy. That's just you should do that. That's the bare minimum I expect of a human being.
It's also not a swap. If you knock over my $17 peppermint mocha with soy at 110 degrees and the chocolate sprinkles and an extra pump of mocha sauce and decaf of one shot and regular calf of the other, and you give me a bottled water, I'm like, You go to that Starbucks and you replace my 17-minute order.
But it's these fucking the scale is different for religious people is what I've learned. Is that the Pope will everyone on Facebook will be like, oh my God, the Pope said gays aren't the worst thing ever, and everyone's like, this is the best.
Are
what
you
a great
kidding me?
guy.
That guy
and I'm like, I've been saying that my whole life. My whole life I felt that. No one's ever given me any credit. And now this is I knocked over his drink and I gave him some water. So I'm a good guy. No. You're just not an asshole. That's all you've determined is that you're not a total shitbird, but that's the best we could say about you right now.
I guess that's what they were going for. Yeah. And also it's time to subtly work in the conflict about, moral relativism. So we're going to do that by having him in his Ethics 101 class talking about moral relativism. Subtle. Very subtle.
And he asks the girl, he goes, why shouldn't you murder someone? And this girl responds by saying, say you done murder someone for murder, you murder, go to, and then the rest of the movie continues and no one's like, hey, are you okay? Character who just spoke absolute gibberish. He's like, well, that's one answer. Main characters, what do you think?
I love how every question is phrased in the form of a Christian talking point as well. But yeah, they call on the main character to ask about moral relativism, and he gives an answer that's kind of right-ish. And the love interest who is sitting in his lap at this point says, you mean it's kind of like if you were angry and you smashed a glass door, but you're really a good person, huh? And the teacher's like, no, not.
And then, the professor has to be like, no, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. No, we're talking about utilitarianism. Shut up.
I wanted there to be other scenes where she can only relate all of her subjects to smashing a glass door. All right, X equals negative B plus or minus square root. It's kind of like smashing a glass door. No, Emma, you need
it's not.
See a doctor.
I was like, what? That's such a dick move. Can you imagine someone who he's never spoken to this woman? He probably has no idea she was at the gym that day.
Right. So
hey, the only thing I know about you is that you broke a door, and I'm going to bring that up now in front of a group of people. Well, it's what the fuck? Go away. Leave me alone.
She gives a toast at his wedding. Hi, sorry, just wanted real quick. He broke a glass door. Take.
I'm Emma, by the way. You'll find that out 3/4 of the way through this wedding.
Oh, and also this, they wrote this, right? So they could have been talking about something that would have been related to breaking a glass door, but still being a good person. It's not like they had to find a way to fit this into an existing conversation or anything. But yeah, and just to really reinforce how bad they are at this writing movie shit, the following scene is him leaving the class and her running up and saying, hey, let's talk about the moral relativity of that window that you smashed.
Ugh.
It was an accident. There's no moral thing here. I pushed it open real hard because I was mad and it broke.
I didn't kick my way out of it or anything. Yeah.
I killed my dad.
And that's a much more interesting moral quandary.
Right.
I punched my dad in the heart and he died. Should I be in jail right now?
Yes, you should. If you punch someone and they die, it is your fault. Sorry, internet means it is. But here's the crazy thing, right? So she runs up and she's like, so do you actually believe in moral relativism? And his response is, don't talk to me. And she's like, oh, okay. And he's like, sorry, can I try that again? Do you want to go out with me? And she's like, yes.
Yeah, what? You
That is
might
the
as well have
journey.
just said, I think pussies are gross. And she's like, yeah, but do you want to date?
Yes.
She can fix him, you guys. She can fix him.
As we'll learn. So they go out for lunch to a fancy place, I guess.
Super fancy.
Oh, they go to some super, super sad place for poor people. It's like a knockoff TGI Fridays. Like, what is this, coupon week? Come on. We're going to Cooper's.
TGI Thursdays.
TGI, it's not your birthday.
And also, they have this like this. I guess it's supposed to be a comedy beat where he orders super healthy and she just gets a cheeseburger. That's backwards. She should be eating a salad because she has a vagina. Get it?
Comedy. It really is, though. Like, and that never pays off, by the way. Like, it's just supposed to be a comedy beat because she has a uterus and a desire for cheese and meat.
It's just letting you know that in the future, when they get married, she's going to put on a lot of weight.
So get ready. In the sequel,
she's hot now because she's in college, but like it's going to get bad.
Yeah.
12
This
pounds
whole
a year.
movie is a prequel for My 600-Pound Life on TLC.
Yes.
So, and I love the conversation they're having here. Like, she might as well say at one point, like, what would you say is your next most relevant bullet point on your character's biography?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll just announce all of my exposition. Do you want to announce all of yours? And she's like, later in the movie, later.
I'm the girl.
I just want you to,
That's
baby.
it.
I just want you to let you know that I killed my dad, and I'll tell you about it later when it's most dramatic.
But yeah, no, and they go through all his exposition, and then he's like, "What? Enough about me. What about you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm the lady in the movie." And they're like, "Okay, done with the scene, I guess."
Nice, let's go talk to a dog.
Well, yeah, okay. And I'm so pissed about this dog not being a larger part of this film. I was like, "Oh, good, dog."
Nope.
There will be a dog plot line, but really, not really.
Nope. Most likable character in the movie, best actor in the movie.
Yes. Although I've got to say, I've never seen a dog more obviously not give a fuck about the actor. That dog was like, no. This motherfucker's got treats. Like, I don't care if he's sad. He's got treats. I'm going to eat these treats.
And then it wanders away during the scene. Like, he runs out of treats and the dog's like, all right, fuck off.
Yeah, I got no reason to stay then. Bye.
Smell like body butter.
And also, I think it's important that we point out how useless this scene is, because this is just him talking to his dog that we'll essentially never see again about the previous scene.
Yep.
And then it's
Hey,
back
dog,
to
I
the
met
gym.
a girl. She had a hamburger. I had chicken. And it was grilled chicken. It wasn't even breaded because that's unnecessary carbs, dog.
I wanted the dog to be like, oh, you're so boring.
Hey, remember when you killed your dad?
I hate you. Why do you always bring that up?
I ate one of my litter mates, so I get it.
We need to get Dog and Camel together to do their own flick. That's a Patreon goal right there.
Dog and fat camel against hellbound kangaroo.
You have to listen to all the episodes. All the episodes.
All
right.
the episodes.
So now we're back to the gym where Hayden is still being a shit-talking bully about this wussy little dad punch deather that won't fight him.
Yeah, Hayden's so mad. And like it's amazing how little Mason knows what's going on. Like, again, every time we see Hayden, he's committing assault. And Mason, the guy who runs the gym and trains everybody, but doesn't talk to anybody because he has a lisp and it makes everybody uncomfortable. It's just like, nope, everything's business as usual. No assaults happening here, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I wanted it to escalate each scene. So at the last scene, like Mason walks over and Hayden's all covered in blood and he's like, okay, go shower that off. Then do some technical sparring.
So Mason and Logan wander off to the locker room to talk about the big Strike Hard event that's coming up, where perhaps he can fight Johnny and the Cobra Kai. And apparently they want him to fight Hayden, like the big fight promoters for the Tuscaloosa Strike Hard event really want to pay a lot of money for Hayden to fight Logan.
They sure do. So this like podunk little town's amateur MMA organization is paying $5,000 and $5,000. So $5,000 to show up, $5,000 if you win, which means they have $15,000 to spend on one fight on this card.
Yeah.
And there's probably 4 or 5 different fights. So like the amateur MMA community in this town, which we never learn where it is, has a lot of money in it.
Really does.
Like that's madness. That is crazy money.
And as we'll learn towards the end of the movie, there are literally dozens of fat, unattractive people who are going to come to this match. So it all balances out. I assume they're going with several $1,000s a ticket to balance out their purse.
They'd have to, yeah. But, you know, of course, Logan doesn't want to fight, but the gym needs the money. Conflict. And this is basically where Mason says, man, you need to get over the dead dad shit, you selfish bitch. And he doesn't. You have to just guess this guy's intended emotion based on the line. You can't, there are no other cues.
I wrote in my notes, was that a dramatic moment? You killed our dad 2 years ago, get over it?
And this is one of the first times we see the Hayden character commit a felony, because when they come back out of the locker room, he's fighting with somebody who is very clearly tapping out and has tapped out, and everyone around is saying, Hayden, he tapped out, stop hitting him in the head, and Hayden's still hitting him in the head.
Yeah, and remember, everyone in the gym is on Hayden's side.
Yeah.
They all abandon Logan.
And Devin.
But they're also watching, yeah.
And Devin, I love your note here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. Hayden commits assault. He goes to jail, and the movie ends.
Yeah, so easy.
That should be it. It's hey, yeah, that guy. 40 people heard that guy say, "Please stop punching him," and then you kept punching him, and so that's not allowed.
Oh, wait, question. Can I start an MMA career and then like secretly tap out, and then the next time someone punches me, like sue him?
Well,
you can try.
We'll have to get Andrew.
I encourage you to try.
My first match against Dan the Beast. Severin.
So, and also, of course, we also have to learn in this scene that, like, you know, when Dad died, Mason took over the gym, and the only way the gym stays in business is because Hayden is such a good fighter. I'm not really sure how that works, but he has all this awesome fighting.
How do gyms benefit from having a good fighter at their gym?
Well, you don't get robbed.
That's true.
That's a big win. That's a
big part of it. Okay.
All right. So, yeah, moving on, because I don't really know what the answer to that question is, and I'm sure there really is one. It's time to meet the magical black character of the film. We get him, like, getting gas, and he glances over, and there's... now, we all have him as homeless guy, but it's really just a guy with weird hair sitting on the steps.
Right. No, he's a CEO. He's a CEO of a successful. He's a CEO of a successful tech startup, and but like his nephew runs the gas station.
He hangs around.
he's just there sometimes. You know, it's a beautiful spring day. He wanted to be outside, and he likes to smell gasoline, so he's hanging out.
He definitely strikes me as somebody who loves the smell of gasoline. So yeah, there is no indication really in this film that this character is homeless, that this character is hungry, or that this character is sane on any level.
But he is the only black character, so the movie, the protagonist, and let's be honest, us, all assume he's a homeless guy. And is, in fact, all of those things.
And if you think about it, this is another one of those latte for a bottle of water moments, right? Because he feels like this guy's hungry, so he goes in and he buys him gas station pizza. That is not better than hunger. Gas station pizza?
Here's some cardboard with some easy cheese on it. This will help you die faster, and let's be honest, it's probably what you're aiming for at this point. You're welcome.
I'm glad that all the good Christians in this community want to go to Mozambique to help people, but like they don't give a fuck about this guy.
They certainly don't.
The one homeless guy in town, and they're just like, nah.
I want Emma to hit the homeless guy later in this movie and be like, ugh, my car's all messed up. Let's go to the lake.
Well, and I love, too, the guy's reaction. We're going to keep calling him the homeless guy because that's clearly what they were aiming for. His immediate reaction to the pizza is, well, that's mighty my religion like of you, isn't it, son? It's like, what a dick. I mean, like, what if that was just a Muslim guy that bought him pizza? How insulting would that be? Anyway, So they talk about good choices in Jesus for a little while. And the old black guy tells him that what really matters is that you belong to his religion, not so much anything else. This is why you don't feed homeless people.
Yeah. We're all God's children. Man with poop in his pants. His actual words are a little bit worse than that. It's, if you ain't God's child, who are you? And I wanted him to be like, Logan. No, like, who are you? Logan. I don't think you get it. I don't think you get it. Give me my pizza back.
And, okay, so then we get this really weird, why the hell is this here scene where him and Emma are studying at the library. And basically he says to her, he's like, you know what? I cannot focus on this scene. Can I meet you in a later one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Well, I like libraries, and the filmmakers like libraries. It's really just a movie that, in this moment, they're just showing their appreciation for libraries.
Yeah.
They're great places. They're great places to hang out, read a book.
I guess that's supposed to be more like, see, he's a good kid. He's hanging out at the library doing Thomas Takes the Bar exam.
Yeah, I wanted Andrew so badly to wander over because they're asking a law question. I wanted him to wander over and be like, now, C was a tempting answer. It was. But actually, I get all those questions wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so now that scene is admitted it has nothing to add to the story, Logan has to go talk to his brother Mason about turning down the big fight or whatever.
And literally the dramatic moment of this scene is that Mason says, hey man, you should just know Hayden says you're scared to fight. So everybody in the gym hates you now, to the extent that at least one of them will threaten your girlfriend with rape later in the movie. That's how mad they are that you won't get in the cage and punchy punch with Hayden. One of them will let Hayden be somewhere and then threaten your girlfriend with rape.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's how committed they are to the pussitude of him not wanting to fight, I guess.
And now you guys are saying that doesn't make sense to you? Because sometimes how other people are just objects to do things that you want them to do?
Yeah.
Why is Heath not here now?
But they're not real. They're not as real as you are. So I figured it was sort of like that. Like, yeah, when the people who aren't as real as I am don't do the things that I want them to, I get very angry and I try to murder their girlfriends.
Well, if normally we have Heath here to answer questions like this to relate to you more on that topic, but
that's all right. I'll call him later.
Okay.
There's also this incredible moment. So like when Mason says it, it's a huge deal. What the movie wants you to think is like, he could take it from them, but he couldn't take it from Mason. So he wanders out into the gym and is like, everybody off the mats. Everybody come fight me right now.
I hate fighting, but I'm going to fight all of you right now. I swore I'd never fight again, but hey, there's my brother. I'm going to go kick his ass.
Yeah, right.
So he fights his brother. He fights his brother. And by the way, like, they just do it on the floor with no punching. I feel like there's a ref and you don't wear khakis. Like, I'm not an MMA expert.
And also, by the way, Mason, the actor playing Mason, probably outweighs this guy by about 75 pounds.
Yeah.
So like a purely wrestling fight, there is no fucking chance for Logan here.
No. Yeah, he's going to get crushed. Although we do find out later on that he fights at 175, I think. I think he's like a welterweight or something.
Yeah, he's a middleweight.
And he's a middleweight. They fight at 180. That's right. Yeah. And like, absolutely not. You can look, if you Google search any professional middleweight fighter, they look 5 times the size of everybody in this movie.
Yes, right. Absolutely. There is no question. The least realistic thing about this film is the actor playing Mason trying to pretend he's being wrestled to the ground by like a broomstick with arms. Just like, oh, yeah, you got me. I'm all wrestled to the ground now and couldn't just slowly peel your arms away like a tiny, tiny baby bird and then devour you.
Well, and I will say that this is one of those moments where the all offense, no defense thing really comes out, because there actually is some really interesting grappling going on, but it's only in the sense that, like, if you were showing someone how to get out of each of these moves. This is what you would show them, right?
Right. I'm going to attack your arm. Only defend enough so that your arm doesn't get broken, and then now you get to flip me over. Oh no, I got flipped over. And now you're breaking. Now you're choking me to death. All right, yeah, sure. And now I'm going to flip over again. Oh,
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, they're taking turns choking each other like it's my anniversary.
And Mason taps out because Logan clearly is the better fighter, but he doesn't even stop. He's now committing assault, trying to murder another person with his fighting skills because you know how he is.
Yeah, if Emma didn't walk in and be like, Logan, what are you doing? He would have murdered a second member of his family.
Yes.
The no fighting rule is a great idea for him.
Also, Emma has a membership at the gym. And Emma's working out at the gym now. Because later on in the movie, she has a line where she's like, "I don't understand this whole fighting thing." Then why the fuck are you paying $150 a month to come to the gym?
Everyone took all her posters because of the great philanthropy community of that gym. She needed to drop off more posters.
I guess that was the key. So he runs outside to shirtlessly step brood after the fight, and Emma goes out to like comfort him. So that we get through this painful, like he should understand moment. And then we have this even more painful moment where Hayden drives up to kick sand in his face and knock over his sandcastle or whatever and offer to fuck his girlfriend for him.
Yeah, man. I feel like Hayden, who is definitely a bad guy, really goes from 0 to 100. He's like, "Hey, man, you're supposed to fight me. I want that money." He's like, "No, I'm not going to fight you." And he's like, "I'll rape your girlfriend." He's like, "Whoa, is that what smack talk is? Should I have threatened to rape James Lindsay's girlfriend? I feel like I did it wrong because I tweeted at him and then we had a nice conversation." But
yeah, again, we usually have Heath here to answer those questions, but unfortunately, the 1 week he takes off. So now he drives her somewhere or something, I guess, to home, I guess. And she gives him a little shit for not having a job and then promises that she knows how to make him feel better if he comes inside. And it's not a blowjob.
yeah, gentlemen.
That's a real tough. That she was really misleading there.
That was a very, very upsetting. Way more upsetting than Dead Dad. Because first of all, I had already masturbated to the brother on brother wrestling scene. So I got some Gatorade, I lubed up, and then she
replenished those electrolytes.
Yeah, exactly. And she tells him to take and she's like, "Okay, I'll go get ready in the other room." And he's like, "What are you going to get ready?" And she's like, And I've seen that porn. It's like, come on, dude, go take a peek. She's going to be like playing DJ Diddlesworth. And then you're like, you want me to? But no, she brings him cookies.
Yes.
First of all, she made those cookies real fast.
And secondly, she didn't put one in her vag and say, "Here, have a cookie," either. Yeah.
Did she just press dough into discs and then walk back into the room?
Either that or she just like constantly has cookies baking in the oven. Just all the time there are fresh cookies in her house, which like is pretty fucking sweet.
No, that actually is. I mean, it's no blowjob, but it's pretty good. So, yeah, and there's also like this, because now they have to establish the fact that she's super, super Christian, which I guess they didn't do enough with the posters or whatever. So he says, "What's in that room over there?" Which is really odd unless it's the bedroom, and it's not. She's like, "Oh, this is my Jesus room where I write all my Jesus stuff and put maps of all my Jesus stuff. This is my you are never going to get fucked room."
Yeah, I mean, like, first of all, I've never been in someone's house and just been like, "What's in that room there?"
Right?
That's a fucking weird question to ask. Like, either it's there's only so many rooms it could be. Like, it's not the kitchen. You're in the living room. Bedroom on the first floor? Could be. An apartment? Maybe it's the bathroom. I've never been that curious. Also, like, she's doing pretty well for herself as a college student if she can afford an apartment that has an extra room just for Jesus.
Yeah, right?
Like, where's your roommate? Come on,
Hey, give me a
girl.
fucking break.
Get your shit together.
In Africa.
So, apparently, yeah. So now they have this very watching porn with Eli moment where they just sit down to watch video of starving African kids.
Yeah, pretty much exactly watching porn with Eli moment. If they both had tissue boxes, it would be identical. He also asks her why Africa, and I wanted her so bad to be like, "Look at me. Hey, look at me, Logan. Big, black, Uncut cocks. And then they're just like watching Netflix, like, you seem quiet. Yeah. Nothing. No big deal.
So when are you going after?
So he puts his arm around her and they fall asleep together to starving African children.
You know, like you do.
Well, like you do. Yeah, exactly.
Starving African children bore me to sleep. Yeah. Like, get over it. Get over it. I get your belly's all swollen because you don't eat. I don't care.
Oh, you want some rice? So yeah, I killed my dad.
Killed my dad and I got away with it. I can kill you.
Look how easy that kid's heart would be to punch. I can fucking see it through his chest.
Oh,
like a big fucking target right there. Come on, Ubuntu.
So we get, and of course, while he's asleep to the starving African kids, we get another black and white dad, please don't die on me flashback, you know, just in case we forgot that he punched his dad to death at the beginning of this movie. And then she invites him to the next scene, which will be hanging out with her missionary friends.
Oh, boy, aren't they a fun bunch, huh?
Oh my God.
It's interesting that they're all Southern. No one else in this movie is Southern. But all of these people are very Southern.
Well, they have weird tubing and boats, huh? Some lake fun. Also, just a tiny note, not even really worth mentioning, but when they're traveling there, are they traveling in an open-topped bus or a wagon?
A tram? Or
how?
They never tell you.
It's a Godmobile.
Oh, is that it?
It's a Jesus car.
It's the Pope Mobile.
Yeah, it's the weirdest, like they're facing backwards and all you see is a bar behind them as though they were on a Ferris wheel going down a forest track, and they never pan out enough to let you know what it is, and then you just see them and they're there.
Yeah, movie, that's called an establishing shot so that we don't just wonder what vehicle you traveled to the lake in.
Also, this is such a bizarre fucking contrast, right? So we get them hanging out, having lunch with the friends or whatever, and they're all talking about how great it is to be selfless and to go to Africa and to give up all the pleasures of life. And then that's followed...
Sex is for losers.
Yeah, well, right. But then that's followed immediately by the most self-absorbed water sports and jet skis montage of wealthy, white, privileged people that you can possibly imagine.
Jesus loves water sports.
We have fully 11 minutes of these teenagers just doing all the fun things you can do when you're rich and white at a lake.
Yeah.
There's tubing, there's jet skis. I wrote in my notes, great, all we need is a ziplining montage in a Christian movie and I get to kill myself, right? Noah, you promised. Also, music note, Uncle for crackers.
Oh, nice. And also, by the way, like this lead actress, I don't want to harp on this, but she is wearing the least sexy, like old lady swimming suit that you can imagine that wouldn't have a skirt attached to it. Like they went out of their way to very much not sexy this girl up, which is weird because they went to so much effort to give us all sexified Logan.
There's also, it's again, just a tiny thing. He jumps off the dock backwards and turns towards her. And the film chooses to show this in slow motion. And I wanted him so badly to raise a gun to his head and shoot himself as he's jumping on. Just like, gotcha. Something tells me I'm into something. He just lands plap on that mat thing they've been playing on. Everyone starts screaming. Movie takes a super dark turn.
What the hell was that mat thing, by the way?
You want one, right? Did you feel the same way?
That was magic. I didn't understand how that worked at all. I was like, they're standing on it, but it's also like going into the water. What's happening?
It's rich white people stuff.
That's what Jesus used to trick everybody into thinking he could walk on water.
Oh, shit. I didn't even put that together that this was the walking on water scene. So,
oh, yeah, they were walking all over that water.
Yeah, so they have a fun day together. They even kiss like fourth graders in a play.
Yeah, they kissed like they read about kissing, but the book didn't have any pictures.
Yeah, right.
They sort of knew the lips were involved.
So they're driving home, and they have this, like, he has this weird, like, I don't know if I can love Jesus enough for you moment where she, like, offers up Pascal's key ring, and...
She does. He asks her, like, how she can... Because... He doesn't ask, like, why she does it for Jesus. Logan's journey seems to be how it's possible to care about other human beings.
Yes. Right. She's like, "What? I don't understand why you would do something charitable." It's like, well, you bought the guy the pizza. I mean, I don't consider that charity because I know how bad that pizza is, but the movie clearly does.
Right.
Don't you remember when you knocked over that guy's latte?
Yeah.
That's what Jesus would have given him, a bottle of water too.
Yeah. He might have changed it into wine, but still, samesies.
She even asked at one point, "Why are you so angry at God?" And I want him to go, "Dead parent, duh. Already told you about that. Have you never watched a Christian movie?"
I punched the heart out of my dad, and I'm a little bit fucked up about it.
You know, some people have a
God.
God-sized hole in their heart. My dad has a fist-sized hole in his heart, and that has the same reaction ultimately.
Yeah, but her response is basically, God didn't punch your dad to death, Logan. You did.
Thanks. You're right. That makes me feel so much better.
So at the end of the scene, he agrees to go to Africa with her and be a missionary.
Yeah, and he's like,
That's a
"I'm still
big
not sure
commitment.
about that stuff." And she's like, "What stuff?" And he's like, "Black people." No, other diseases.
Do they have sit-ups in Africa? Because that appears to be what I do.
So now we got to check back in with the magical black man about this situation.
God, he's my favorite.
And this is like they go so much further with these two characters are having different conversations in this one, because the one guy is like the homeless guy at this point is just talking about gummy bears through this whole conversation, but not like as an analogy for anything.
Nope, he
He's
just likes
naming
gummy
them.
bears. Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, I like the mixed gummy bears. I wrote, this movie's getting political. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah. And also, what a cheap bastard. He can't even buy the homeless guy his own bag of miscegenated gummy bears. They have to share one.
There's also this great moment where he goes, you don't know the pain I've caused. And I want him to go, you don't know the pain this homeless guy has caused. You think about that? Huh? Maybe he killed his...
You ever hear of the Green River Killer? It's this guy.
There you go.
And also, I think this is kind of important to reflect on, right? Like, according to this movie, he's going to a homeless guy for wisdom about Christianity, right? So going to a homeless guy or going to a professional, you get the same advice. Isn't that kind of an admission of the stupidity of your worldview?
That's why I have a homeless guy do all my surgery. I am ill.
And now it's time to have a being a good person montage, I guess.
Right.
That's the best. Yep.
They have a black lady with one leg. She gets some groceries. And then an old lady who appears to be wrapped in a kindergarten parachute.
Yeah. They're wheeling her around in a wheelchair, taking her to the doctor.
Say, you see more black people in this montage than you do for the rest of the movie. It's like, oh, we need to help people. Africa, black people. Let's go help black people. No, very few white people need help in this movie.
There's also this great little moment at the end of it where they're all sitting around telling Bible stories to kids, or she is, and he's in the audience. And this one kid like puts his arm around Logan like, hunky.
Oh my God, that's fucking, yeah.
And it really had this feeling of the kid looking around going like, okay, I'm in a church, I'm a kid, I know I'm getting fucked, I call this guy.
Right. At least I want some washboard abs to look up into.
Right?
I think they probably get it from behind, so you probably can't see.
Well, that's true, but
You can imagine you can picture the abs. I did.
Fair enough.
yeah. So now he so they've had this whole Jesus-y day, and he's walking out, and he realizes that maybe she's right about God mattering, but just then he notices that his Jeep has been kind of vandalized, but they weren't really very serious about it.
They spray painted the word "fight" onto the side of his car. The word,
and honestly, like, pretty well. Like, it looks pretty good. Like, it's kind of a cooler Jeep now.
First of all, you can't ruin a Jeep. It's impossible to ruin a Jeep, right?
Hey.
It's a Jeep. It can only be ruined or ruinder.
Jeeps are awesome, but yeah, okay, fine.
All right.
Sales of cars, I'm fine with that. You have no taste. Anyway, yeah, but his reaction
Send
to
me
this
pictures
is
of your hot Jeeps.
So yeah, my pictures are not going to be anywhere near as good as yours. But his reaction to this when he sees this is to just like stand there, jaw agape, and say, "It's too far. It's too far." It's like, dude, this guy's going to threaten to rape your girlfriend again.
Right.
Like, I feel like you're not prioritizing correctly here.
Right. And his response to this is to bring his girlfriend into the car to the fight. He's like, oh, I'm going to go fuck that dude up. Get in the car.
Yeah, fucking drive her home first.
Right?
Or like, you know, get some sleep and see how you feel about it in the morning. Like, let's come on now. And like, for somebody who refuses to fight, boy, does Logan want to fight all the time.
No shit.
No, well, wait. They're in the car, and she's like, Logan, don't do this. Logan, don't do this. And his response is, it's not your car. To which she replies, you know what? That's a really good point. It's not my car.
I guess you can punch a Nazi if it's your car. Yeah. Well, and he's like, so he gets, and she's telling him, you know, don't fight. And he's going like, if he wants it this bad, he's got it. And it's just like, well, you know, I mean, you can get your car repainted for a lot less than $5,000. So this makes perfect sense. But at any rate, he gets to the gym, and, you know, of course, Hayden has to remind you who the bad guy is. So he's like, I don't care about you, your girlfriend, your dead dad, or your God. I just want to fight. And Logan's like, no, you drove there to tell him that.
Yeah, he drove down to be like, hey, man, just so you know, this couldn't wait. I'm not going to fight you.
Despite the spray painting of the Jeep. Yeah.
Hey, Hayden, I don't know if you were trying to, if you thought I wanted to fight on my car, if you thought that was the thing that I wanted, but I didn't want it.
I wanted to,
and just like next time you're gonna try to make modifications to my car, if you could just run it by me first, I'd really appreciate it.
Hey, I want a cut scene where Hayden just sadly puts a stencil in his locker. Stupid. Hey, man, you still want to send him some of those flowers from bloomvat.com using the code bloomblat/atheist? No, you know what? I don't. Ignore it.
So, and also, like, now the girlfriend is like, Emma is so excited, and she's like, oh, you did the right thing. You were a better man. And then he gets a kiss on the cheek over it. That's it. I'd go back and fight Hayden if I was him. Like, fuck that.
Fuck it. I'll get more from that from Hayden. Just like if he tries to choke me, I feel like that's more intimate. Also, I feel like I should apologize at this point. Devin, when I invited you on the show, I probably shouldn't have spray painted podcast on your car. So let's just get that out there. My apologies.
I'm so mad. I'm going to tell you that I wish you hadn't done that.
But now,
that's how mad
in person.
That's the level of angry that I am. I'm going to come to your apartment and be like, hey, I kind of wish you hadn't done that.
But could you take your daughter out of school and make sure she's in the car with you when you do it?
I don't go anywhere without at least one woman just being dragged along.
And also, this is a great, amazing moment where they have the two of them go out to have coffee together, and they have the like worst thing you've ever done conversation. And I bet he always wins that conversation.
Oh
yeah, no, I punched my dad's heart out.
Well, she goes, I drank a lot.
And partied.
And I wrote, he punched his dad to death. And then I highlighted it and wrote in my notes, these are my favorite things I've ever written in order. She drank a lot and partied. He punched his dad to death.
No, she's basically confessing that she used to be an interesting person.
Yes. It's a common problem in Christianity, I do believe. Yeah. And of course, he wants her to ask him to go to church, you know, like nobody ever has ever wanted. Yeah. So with the church invite in this scene, we know that can only mean sermon in the next one. And I don't know about you guys, but before we suffer through that, I'm going to need a break. So let me give Act 3 the hard sell here. Will Logan find room in his life for Jesus? Can Hayden rape threaten Emma into Logan fighting him? Will the within in this title turn out to have nothing to do with anal penetration at all? Find out the answers to these questions and more when we return for the punchy, kicky, grabby conclusion of The Fight Within.
Hey, Dave, before Mike gets here, I just want to give you a quick heads up.
Okay, cool. About what?
It's his voice.
Hey there, fellas.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Hey, guys. Super happy to start making this movie with you.
Uh-huh. Dude, what are you doing?
What's the problem? Something the matter?
Dave here just forgot you don't have your costume on yet.
No, it wasn't his costume I was worried about. It's the fact that he's got
great attitude because Mike wants to act. And all he does in his free time is practice punching people.
Yes, sir. Acting and punching. That's all I ever think about.
I see. Yeah, no, costume. I was worried about the
Oh, Dave, you're so silly. I'll go get my costume on right now. Super silly.
Okay, right. Just, it's just down the hall. Dude, seriously?
Listen, there aren't a lot of well-spoken guys who punch people in the face for a living, Dave.
Yeah, super well spoken, this one.
Hey, old man, mind if I join you?
I can see the Chinese sneaking in my window, but I stop them with laser microwave technology.
I don't know, just lately I've been thinking about God, you know? How can he have a plan for me?
They sent messages into my brain with television, but I heard it backwards and the hypnosis doesn't work if you eat tinfoil.
Sure, easy for you to say. But how can you believe?
I only pretend to take my pills, keep robots out my blood.
You're right. I know you're right. I just need to trust him. And I know I can do it.
You're a bad listener.
Maybe it is, old man. Maybe it is.
Gummy bears.
Yeah, sure.
And we're back for more of this shit. When we last left our hero, he was getting invited to church, so we're going to rejoin him waking up on Sunday morning to go to church.
Church starts too early. Am I right, guys?
You are. Way too fucking early.
And when we go to this church, we find out that this is where this movie was keeping all of its ugly people. Because look, this movie has a lot of problems, but Hayden, Mason, even Logan, all pretty good looking people. But man, did they pull out all the ugly stops for this church scene.
Yeah, where were all the normal extras? Like, was there something else? Was something else really big filming and all the good extras were like, no, I'm definitely working on that project. It pays way more.
I think they filmed this in Alabama, folks. So.
I see.
I think they had normal extras, but there was a meltdown at the plant.
There was a horrible fire on the bus that had all the extras on it.
And also, by the way, these are terrible extras. They're not just ugly. They're also like all staring at the main characters.
Oh, yes.
They look like they could be in a movie, huh?
It's phenomenal, including one incredibly bored, miserable-looking little boy in the front row who is staring directly into camera, blinking twice, asking for help. He might as well cross his fingers and shake Hillary Clinton's hand.
Yes. So we get our sermon, and I just want to say this preacher has a huge Bible. Like he has had complaints.
Yeah, that Bible is weird and too thick. Is he preaching out of Stephen King's The Stand?
It's the director's cut of the Bible.
In the book of Trash Can, man. Yeah. So we get more talk about who are you really? We get more talk about moral relativism. And this sentence actually appears in his sermon. I had to write this down. This is amazing. It was for freedom that Jesus came to set us free.
Oh, that was nice.
It was for the freedom of being
when he said,
free.
"Who are you?" I wanted him to unzip his face and be the homeless guy. Ha ha! Gotcha. I killed him.
I wear other people's faces.
Another great line from his sermon is, "Psychology tells us we are the sum of our decisions."
What a load of fucking crap that is, huh?
Psychology tells us that, huh?
Yeah. Well, and dude, like these extras were all clearly told to look interested, you know? It looked like you're really enjoying the sermon, look like you're interested, but they all have this what is on his lip look on their face, like that kind of interested, like morbid curiosity, and they don't know the difference. And then it gets too boring, so we drop into a musical montage of this sermon.
Yeah, montages, I know what you're thinking. Montages usually reserved for like fun action sequences, like tubing or training to fight. Not in this movie. We also have just people talking. Just a montage of people just having conversation, talking about God.
Yeah, the montage includes several, like Logan leaning forward, like he's interested, or he's sitting backwards on a rocking chair kind of a thing. Like that's the montage, going from him looking interested, from her looking happy that he's interested, to the preacher talking with music going on. Yeah.
The movie version of yada, yada, yada. And, blah, blah, blah. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. All right, let's get to the end here. And it jumps right back into the sermon. And what's amazing is the music from the montage is still going on, but the preacher very obviously has a guy behind him just like backing him up on guitar.
Yeah, it was a real.
It's very strange. We watch him do the altar call.
And I love, too, that, like, when we cut back into the sermon, like, the sentence we cut back into is basically like, so considering all of those things I just said, you'd have to be an idiot not to believe in Jesus. Huh? I sure did prove my point.
I sure did nail it.
Yeah. And then it's time for the big altar call.
And basically, they've made two terrible choices at this altar call. The first is they take their super attractive actor and they have him do his altar call next to a giant, super duper crazy fat guy.
Yes.
But then his altar call, like he says something, and then him and the preacher just hug for a really long time.
A really long time.
The preacher is like, oh, you don't know about my horrible sexual past like everybody else here does. I'm so happy you're here.
Well, it was so long that you're like, are we watching the hug in slow motion, or are they just really like, I feel like the preacher at this point is going like, okay, man, like we're not gonna, you feel like, it seems like you're trying to throw me to the ground here. I don't think you get how this
He doesn't
works.
know how to hug. He just keeps trying to hip throw him. Stop, Logan. Go tap out. I killed my dad.
So now he's all Christianized and he wants to go Jesus all over the place. So he's asking Emma, like, wow, I'm so serious about this. And she's like, oh, that's great. You're going to be super fucking annoying forever now. And he's like, yeah, I am. How do we go annoy people with this? So she gives him a Bible that looks like it came straight from Saruman's porn stash.
It's huge. Again, also, it's a family heirloom. She's like, this was my father's Bible and it was passed to him by his father. And I'm like, hey, don't give out family heirlooms.
In return, here's my father's heart. I ripped it out of his chest.
Logan's a bit of a topper.
Yeah. So now, and then we just kind of like randomly cut to them leaving a movie where he bitches about how fake the love scenes are. I'm like, subtle movie, subtle. It's like all of the movies fuck up love scenes, right? When they kiss and it looks like they don't know how to do it. It's like that in all movies.
Yeah, love scenes in movies are so fake. It would be way better if they clumsily began all of their conversations with what?
It's just ballsy to make fun of movies in your shitty movie.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're moving in on our turf, assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
For this, there's professionals. So, and what's amazing, too, is there's a moment here where, he's talking about how silly it is that in these movies they all fall in love and immediately all the problems are solved. And then so she jumps into what is supposed to be her character doing like a bad acting version of having fallen in love with him. But she's not a good enough actress that like when she does bad acting, there's a difference between that and when she just does acting. So you can't tell except by his response.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I had no idea that she was pretending to be a bad actor until like 45 seconds after the scene ended.
Yeah, I was like, you know what?
When my brain could finally process all that information.
It's like reading the different moves in a chess match. You're like, oh, I see what was going on there. Eventually.
So on the way home, she wants him to explain why he fights because, you got to fill this script with something. And they
remember, she has a membership at the MMA gym. So, like, she doesn't get fighting, but she trains at the gym.
She does. Or maybe she just talks
She's
her way
just
in
there
every
for the
time.
posters.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted him so badly for when she was like, why does someone get in a cage and fight? I wanted him so badly to be like, oh, because high school is hard and medication's expensive. She goes, why did you stop? And he goes, oh, and he doesn't say, cause I killed my dad. He goes, oh, my dad pushed me. And then the one time I pushed back, he has a heart attack and died. No. You punched him in the chest
at the time that he was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
And you knew he just had a pacemaker and stuff.
I'm just saying, Logan very much softballs this story. Like, we were shouting and he had a heart. No. You struck your father's heart and it stopped.
So they get to, he gets to like her place to drop her off, and he's like, you want to?
I bet they don't have sex.
Yeah,
I bet $100 they don't have sex.
Well done. Exactly. He's like, I'm too Christian for that now, huh? I'm not getting my dick wet for a long time. She's like, nope. He's like, do you want me to walk you into your house, which we can see from here? He's like, no, we're not fucking. And he's like, okay, fine. I thought I could at least
okay.
ask.
Well, you're going to get a rape threat, so you're going to feel pretty silly that I'm not there to do the kicky punch grabby stuff.
God, I love kicky punch grabby.
So she goes in through Earth's squeakiest door, and one of Hayden's goons, you know how people have goons in real life?
Now, is this one of Hayden's? I thought this was Hayden.
Well, the cops later say that he's got an alibi, so either it's not Hayden or like all the people at the gym are willing to lie for him about the rape threat.
I mean, these cops didn't seem like they really investigated.
Yeah, that's true.
Not at all. We will get to it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's just say it was Hayden, and he's like, I'm going to rape the fuck out of you if your boyfriend doesn't fight me. And she's like, this is weird. I mean, I'm worried and concerned, but this is just a weird way to go about goading him.
Yeah,
right. Step one was be mean to him at the gym. Step 2 was spray paint fight on his car. Step 3 was break into girlfriend's house and threaten to like murder rape her.
And how?
Like, that's just, there's a big jump. He skipped like 5 steps.
Again, if only Heath were here. So yeah, and also I'm curious how long he just had to sit at that house. It's like, fuck, I've been in this Jesus room for an hour and a half playing Candy Crush.
Sitting in her living room.
I think it turns out that Hayden is Emma's roommate.
Oh, Hayden, I'm so glad you're back. You'll never guess what happened. Yeah,
a man in a mask.
Where can I put my ski mask? Weird, unrelated question.
So, and I got to give the movie credit because in a Christian movie, you just can't tell on stuff like this. She does call the cops, but the cops have a bit of a lackadaisical attitude. And honestly, they were like, your attacker was white, so even if he raped you behind a dumpster, really, there's nothing we're not going to do.
Yeah,
anything,
it's not really.
So.
And he's an athlete. He's a promising up-and-coming athlete. We couldn't possibly do anything about it.
Exactly. Those
what,
are
we
the
going to go
rules.
through all that so that you can get 60 days in jail? Come on. Take one for the team, Emma. That'd be gross.
Yeah, so, and of course, this is where we learn that Hayden had an alibi, which means either the casting is weird or they all lied for one way or the other. It's pretty stupid. But now he's going to fight him once and for all. Logan's going to fight Hayden, but Hayden will only do it in the ring.
Which, I mean, makes sense. I guess that was always the plan. I don't know why.
Right, because otherwise it's assault.
Yeah, well,
otherwise it's just violence. He's like, no, in the ring. And he was like, oh, you wanted to fight me in the ring? I thought you wanted to fisticuffs. He's like, no, I would like $5,000 and then another $5,000 to win.
Yeah.
You're doing this fighting thing as a sport. I understand.
I get it.
Makes so much more sense now. Yeah, and of course, this is also where we have to learn that Mason was wrong to trust an evil person whose name rhymes with Satan, because now that Hayden's got the fight that he wanted, he's going to leave the gym and leave Mason high and dry without his best fighter.
Also, right, makes complete logical sense. You can't have 2 fighters training to fight each other in the same gym
with
at
the same
time.
Trainer. Yeah, that seems odd. Right. Yeah, you'd have to
get him.
Don't get him. The Yankees don't hang out at the Red Sox pitching practice. They're just like, all right, well, we'll go next, guys. Don't worry about it. Take your time.
Yeah, now he's got a week left, and he doesn't know that you know that. Fuck. Yeah.
Also, yeah, they set up the whole like he doesn't know how to block. He doesn't know how to keep his left hand up when he punches, which basically means he doesn't know how to punch.
Right.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know boxing.
Well, and we didn't.
The left side of his body.
Heel. The Achilles heel of his fighting is that he doesn't know how to fight.
Well, we didn't mention it at the time either, but like when he had the flashback, because at the very beginning of the movie, it starts off with him as a little kid, like 9 years old, and his dad saying, keep your right hand up, keep your right hand up. And then it cuts to him at like 23, and his dad's going, keep your right hand up. Like, you had a lot of time to work on this, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. No wonder your dad was pushing you, because you couldn't fucking get anything right.
Also,
I don't know, man. Worthless. It's been 18 years. I feel like you should be better at this by now.
Right? And also, I have to mention this. This was so amazing. This was one of Mason's best moments of how did they describe his acting? Emotionally charged. That's how he describes himself. Yeah, exactly. So as Hayden is walking out, he goes, "But I am the one who made you a fighter. I'm like, man, somebody needs to sing "Row, row, row your boat" with that motherfucker. This is not working.
Yes, they do.
So then that night, Logan makes a smoothie. Why are we watching this?
He makes a smoothie and reads the Bible. I did really just want this scene to just him being like, oh fuck, I need some water, but then it's gonna be all watery. I gotta get a Vitamix. I gotta just go and get.
I thought he was gonna
be
making the smoothie, reading the Bible. Then he drops the Bible into the blender, drinks it, and becomes filled with the power of God. That's his superhero origin story. He just accidentally blends a Bible into his protein shake.
Let me do you one better. He's making a smoothie and Hayden comes up behind him and he's like, hey, you better still fight me this week. I'm gonna, Hayden. God, get out of here.
Oh, yeah, Hayden, I agree. I signed contracts and stuff. Like, I know how it works.
Also, so he's going through the Bible looking for wrestling advice, apparently. And I don't know if you've read the Bible, but there's some wrestling advice in there. My notes from this point on are all about the possibility that this movie could literally end with Emma touching a baby's foreskin to his dick during the fight and giving him the power of God. I would love this movie forever. It doesn't happen, but yeah.
Crazy billionaire money, people. You can make it happen. Patreon.com/God. All of these actors are available, and one of them is apparently an atheist who we want to win in the good graces of. So
we've failed. We've made fun of him for like an hour and a half now.
Well, I meant Muslim Gimli in a good way, though, like because Muslims are so studious, and Gimli was pretty badass, right?
Lisps are a sign of virility.
So he comes to Mason to talk about training him for the upcoming fight or whatever. And he's like, do you think I stand a chance? And he's like, no.
No, why not? You beat him once already. I'm putting my money on the guy who the last time they fought won.
Just all other things being equal. But no, apparently Hayden is the fightiest fighter in all of fighting, and he just won't stand a chance unless there's some kind of miracle.
I get it.
He also goes, oh, no, man, I'll help you. I want you to kill him. And Logan goes, no, I won't kill him. And I'm like, good. Then you would be tied for the amount of people you have fought / almost killed in this movie. So you're going to show more restraint than you showed with Mason earlier in the movie. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of like that. He's like, I've got to end it once and for all kind of talk. Like they definitely are talking about murdering this character. It would seem.
Well, also, Hayden does seem like the guy that if you beat him in a fair fight, much like this character has already beaten him in a fair fight, he'll sort of let everything go and be cool with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, clearly. You're all right,
once you beat him,
LaRusso.
all the problems are going to stop. Hayden's going to really grow up and be like, you know what? Tell me more about Jesus.
Do you want to learn to do your bangs like this?
And now it's time for an exercise montage in case Eli was all lubed up or anything.
And this montage is a combination of things that were arousing and things that I was like, is that real? Because it's like, okay, floor hugging, dragging some shit, sit-ups, but then it's also like Mason poking him with sticks. Now, I don't know. Again, I don't train to fight people, but is stick poking part of being a better fighter?
It's big. Stick poking is big, as is pulling Mason in a little red wagon. That is also a common training regiment.
Yeah, sometimes you hitch your dog to the wagon, and then your dog pulls you through town, and you go get ice cream cones. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, now, and during this entire training montage, I'm just thinking to myself, this is a movie for gay Christian men who haven't admitted it to themselves enough to just watch gay porn. I don't know what other function this served. Oh, and he could pull me in a little wagon. That would be so nice.
And then we'd wrestle each other to the floor. But at the end of this, they've got to have a, hey, man, I think this is the perfect time for this, a week before I do the big fight. Did I kill our dad?
Yeah, that's good combo.
Yeah, well, we got to clear that up. Yeah.
And Devin, I love what you have here.
Yeah, it's. Hey, brother, did I kill Dad? No, you didn't kill Dad because that's not how hearts work. Like Because if you punch somebody and their heart explodes, that's just a coincidence.
I mean, you punched him in the heart and then it attacked him to death, but that's just poor timing on your part.
Unrelated. Yeah.
And then he's jogging. And I wanted Hayden to pop out and be like, "We're still on for the fight." And he's like, "Hayden, honestly, like I have a reminder on my phone and everything. I need you to let this go." "Okay, just checking." All right.
And of course, while he's out jogging, he runs into the magical black guy again.
He's got it. He needs his own movie. The sequel is just all about that guy.
He goes, "How you doing, old man?" And he's like, "Blessed. How about you?" And first of all, I wrote, "Aren't you homeless?" Like, isn't that what the movie?
Again, He's not. He just sold his company to Microsoft. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, and there's a really good indication of it too here. Now, this is how stupidly written this movie is, right? Because he says like, "We're in the park. This is a long way from the gas station. How would you get here, homeless guy?" And what the movie wants you to think is, oh, maybe he's actually an angel, a messenger of the Lord. That's what they're going for. But the other explanation is maybe he's not homeless and he just happened to be at the gas station twice, kind of hanging out on a sunny day now that he's retired, and now he's at the park. He could have just drove to the park.
Points to his super sweet Jeep in the parking lot. "Yeah, I bought that for myself."
Yeah, like he just walked because like he doesn't have anything else to do because he's a homeless guy.
Also that.
Man, that you would have to walk for hours and hours. Yep, that's pretty much.
I don't have a job or a family. So
yeah, this is due west.
I was actually here to drown myself, and now you're interrupting.
And I love too the insensitivity of this fucking movie, right? Because he's like, the black guy's like, "How you doing, pizza friend?" And he's like, "Well, I'm dating a beautiful girl. I've got a great relationship with my brother. I'm about to make a lot of money." And I'm just like, "You're talking to a homeless guy. Quit bragging, you asshole."
It's so wonderful. Just like, "Yeah, that sounds nice. The part where you can afford shoes." Sounds good. Also, he rhymes in this scene because he's trying to talk about, oh, God's always had fighters, blah, blah, blah. And he says, quote, "God don't care if you fight, if you're black at white." And I wanted him to keep going, like, "If you sleep at night, please get me some help."
Yeah, went into a little Dr. Seuss here. But yeah, that's the gist of this conversation, right? Is he has to ask Magical Black Man, "Does God mind if I kick people's asses for money?" And he's like, "No, for money? Shit, you're allowed to like rape their kids and shit in the Bible. Haven't you read that?"
I gotta say, this touches on what is, again, I'm a big MMA fan. This touches on one of my biggest pet peeves in MMA, where, a guy has just beaten the shit out of another man for money. And then they do the interview in the octagon, right? Blood still running down his face. And he goes, "I want to thank Jesus, without whom this wouldn't be possible." It's like, no. If Jesus is real, he doesn't like this. He doesn't like what you're doing with your time. He would say, "Hey, maybe you should do something else."
Well, now I gotta say though, because if you follow the whole Trinity model, Jesus is also God, and God is all about some wrestling. He does. He wrestles with Israel, and that's why he's called Israel. And then he wrestles with who else? He wrestles with Moses, and he gets beaten by the baby dick.
Daniel.
Does he wrestle Daniel? I think he fucks Daniel.
Who's the one who wrestles his brother? The angel?
Yeah, I don't...
Who wrestles an angel?
Yeah, so...
There's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, God can get in a fighty mood, I think.
But you're right in that mainstream, like, white guy Jesus who goes around, like, healing the sick, which is the Jesus that they're talking about. That guy definitely didn't want you to choke another man to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't like
so,
that.
But
he doesn't like
what I'm saying is that they should end with when they win the fight and they do the interview, they should say, "I would like to thank Jew God." Because Jew God would be into that kind of shit.
I thank Jew God all the time.
Well, there you go.
That Old Testament stuff. Yeah, that's all fire and brimstone.
Mel Brooks, Jew God. So now it's time for the fight.
Yes.
Fucking finally. Jesus, This movie took forever to get to the fight, considering it's a movie about fighting.
Well, yeah, but we're not quite to the fight. We're now, like, the fight is beginning for the audience, the fictional audience within the movie, but we have to, like, just see a couple of little snippets of that and then go back to the locker room where Logan's in the back prepping for the main event.
That's right. And his brother gives him a little hand massage.
Yeah.
And then his brother tapes his hands, which is illegal.
Yep.
A member of the athletic commission has to tape your hands. Otherwise, you can put like weights and like fucking pepper and shit in there and fuck with other people. So they cheated. Mm-hmm. It's over.
So here was the crazy thing that happened to me. So I'm watching this movie with my wife, Anna, and my wife has never shown any indication that she cares for MMA or boxing or anything like this. And as he's taping his hands, Anna looks up from her video game and goes, "You're not allowed to have someone from your side tape your hands," and then looks back at her video games. And I have no idea how my wife knows that.
Yeah, I also don't know how your wife knows that.
I don't know what underground boxing ring my wife is a part of, but
yeah, I've never heard of any of them. I've certainly never seen her at one.
God damn it, Devin.
So, and this is also, they have the most stupid and unrelated conversation you can imagine while this is going on. It's basically like, he's like, "So, hey, brother, do you think moral relativism is okay?" And the brother's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man? What, you just..." And then he's like, "Man, I want to just tell you, Logan, I'm really proud that you decided to do this fight instead of getting your girlfriend raped. I'm very proud that you've made that decision."
To which Logan replies, "Everything we could have done. Why do you think we became fighters?" And I would love to hear what Logan thinks he and his brother could have done besides punchy punch. Do you think Mason would have made a great tax attorney? Like, what?
I was almost a CPA.
A bit of contender. Yeah, so, and also, like, we learned that there's even more on the line. Mason will go to church with them if he doesn't die in the ring. So, he's kind of rooting for death.
Yeah, Mason's like, "Oh, geez, how do I get the fuck out of that? That's going to be terrible." I watched that part of the movie. It was awful.
They don't let you kill people in the ring, right? I mean, who knows with this fucking movie? Maybe just everyone would stand. "It's Hayden, guys. It's okay. Let him kill him."
Yeah.
Oh, Hayden brought a gun.
Well, what are you going to do?
So now it's time for the main event. A guy who's never fought professionally before and hasn't fought since he killed his dad in the thing for 5 years. And everybody's really excited about that. Woohoo. And I love this. There was this little moment there where they like panned to Emma in the crowd, and you could just tell that the actress herself was getting groped by that crowd. She looks
she's just
so
like,
incredibly uncomfortable.
Why is everyone here drinking a Monster Energy drink? They don't even sell them here.
Everybody brought their own 6-pack of Monster Energy to this event?
Is that a thing?
And of course,
no one's going to share with me.
And of course, Hayden won't touch gloves because he's an asshole. And then the fight begins. And my notes, by the way, at this point are just Batman chyrons with onomatopoeia.
Yep, mine too. So, Devin, do you want to walk us through what happens in this fight? Because what it appears happens is he knocks him down like one of those Bop It clowns, and then at the end, Logan wins.
So here's what happens. I think it ends in the third round.
Yep.
In the first round, Hayden basically murders Logan.
Oh yeah.
But doesn't he's like a cat playing with a mouse. Like he doesn't want to kill him yet. So he's like he knocks him down and then sort of like rubs his body on top of him for a little bit, and then just like and then lets him get up.
He repeatedly lets him up. Yeah.
Just constantly. Logan can't establish his jab. He, as we know from before, he also, if he throws a punch, his other hand just like falls off and he can get punched in the face.
the entire left side of his body goes numb.
The second round, it's Hayden continuing to murder him, but this time up against the fence. A lot of up against the fence murder.
Yeah.
And Logan is only standing because he's just fallen unconscious into the back of the fence. The ref is clearly taking a break for these 2 rounds and not paying attention because clearly this needed to be stopped.
Yes.
This was horrible.
Yeah, because I've watched some UFC and like a guy gets punched and falls down and they're like, okay, it's over. But Logan spits a lung and the ref's like, "You're good, right? You're going to stand up eventually?" And he's like, "Sure, I mean, someday." The doctor just said, "I'll walk again."
And then in between the second and third round, I guess God showed up.
Yes.
God started caring about about Logan all of a sudden.
Somebody better
and I was
pray
like, I guess
for
I'll
him.
give you the power. I'll give you the God power to murder this other human being. And then Logan wins, and everyone goes, "Wow, they have to fight again," because it's clear that Hayden's clearly the better puncher, and Logan just got fucking lucky. That's what happened. Right?
Well, and
I think we can all agree that.
And also, like, with a sport like MMA, you have so many ways to do that, right? You have so many different ways to reverse a fight where, like, the one guy is clearly getting his ass kicked and is clearly going to lose on the card. You can do, like, these guys are probably too light to knock each other out or whatever. But there are a million ways you can, like, reverse the fight, and all of a sudden he outsmarts his opponent. They don't really do any of that. It's just like, oh, wow, did he catch a lucky punch there?
Yeah. It's like a mugging. The first 2 rounds are just one guy mugging the other guy.
Yeah.
And then the last round is the guy who just got mugged for 10 minutes. Basically, like, falls into a punch and knocks the other guy out.
Yeah, he punches Hayden twice, at which point Hayden explodes into a shower of coins.
And yeah, right. Yes, exactly. And for the last 10 minutes, it's just been Logan lying on the ground getting punched in the face. And the ref's like, nah, he can take more. No, he can take more.
Yeah, and of course, this whole thing sets up this gorgeous line, right? The whole movie is built around this line where Hayden looks at him and he goes, "Daddy's not in your corner anymore." And he goes, "My dad may not be in my corner, but my God is."
Oh, boy. That hurt.
How many takes do you think there were where he was like, "Bitch"? No, Logan, again, it's just, "My God is.
But also, how could they
Bitch.
not,
Sorry.
like, how could they not, like, have him say, "But my heavenly Father is," or, "But I still have a father in my corner," something like that, point out that, like, dad and God, and there's a kind of a relationship, but they couldn't even manage that. Yeah, but he's the winner of the punching, and the end.
He's the best puncher. Hooray.
I guess. All right, so this movie struck me odd in the sense that it was definitely moralizing, but I have no idea what the moral was. So, anybody?
If you can punch better than somebody else, you can do whatever you want. God says so.
It was a Muslim movie. Okay, awesome. Good thing we banned them. They're violent.
Exactly.
And we learned
from the MMA.
And we learned our lesson early on asking Eli to use thumbs to rate stuff. So rather than rating this on a traditional scale, I'm going to sum up by asking you this. Imagine you're in an MMA fight and your opponent has just locked you into a hold that is even less pleasant to be in than this movie was to watch. What is the name of that hold?
Well,
I'm going to go with the dick bar. It's like an arm bar, but with my dick. Like, it's still an arm, like, I'm still hurting your arm, but my dick is what's doing all the pressure.
I gotcha.
Yeah. It's unpleasant, I've been told.
Yeah. I'm going to go, I think it has to be the heart vice. It just feels like somebody's squeezing and punching the shit out of your heart until you die.
We've seen that.
Logan's specialty.
Yeah, the Logan's special finishing move.
Yeah, exactly, where he rips out your spine and everything. All right, well, Devin, I can't thank you enough for suffering alongside us. We would love to have you back again sometime if you remember us after you're gone.
No, thanks. I'm good.
And if our audience would like to hear more from you, where can they find you?
Yeah, I have a show every Saturday night at the People's Improv Theater in New York City. The show's called Gypsy Danger. It's at 8 o'clock Saturday night.
Awesome. And of course, if you're wanting tickets, you'll find a link on the show notes for this episode. Thanks again, Devin. And while that does it for our review of The Fight Within, that's not going to do it for the episode just yet because we still need to bubble you up for next week. So, Eli, tell us, what's on deck?
Me again.
And it is him again, too.
It is. It's David R. White again. From the trailer, this appears to be a body-switching comedy where David R. White is a down-on-his-luck pastor who God bounces into various bodies of people around the community to make him appreciate his own life.
Yeah. So people pretending to be David A.R. White, Quantum Leap style. We really don't know exactly what we're getting into. But goddamn it, if there's another movie on his filmography that we need to check off, I guess we need to check it off. So
yeah, we're starting to review him faster than he can make them.
Yeah, exactly. So with that to look forward to, we'll bring episode 78 to a merciful close. Once again, a huge thanks to Devin Heater for hanging out with us, and a possible even huger thanks to all the Patreon donors that help make the show go. If you'd like to count yourself among their ranks, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/godawful and thereby earn early access to every episode. You can also help us out a ton by leaving a 5-star review on iTunes and by sharing the show on all your various social media platforms. And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to check out our sibling shows, The Scathing Atheist and The Skeptocrat, available on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever else podcasts live. If you have questions, comments, or cinematic suggestions, you can email godawfulmovies@gmail.com. All the music used in this episode was written and performed by Ryan Slotnick of Evil Giraffes on Mars and was used with permission. If you like what you hear more by following the link on the show notes for this episode. Thanks again for giving us a chunk of your life this week. For Heath Enwright and Eli Bosnick, I'm Noah Lugeons, promising to work hard to earn another chunk next week. Until then, we'll leave you with the Breakfast Club close. The guy who played Mason was eventually allowed by the Ninth Circuit Appeals Court to come back into the country.
The homeless guy froze to death while Logan was fighting hate. Technology!
I don't know. Just lately, I can't do that. Okay, hold on. That took me aback because I sort of glanced at it and then I was like, "Oh yeah, all right." Eli's gonna say these words to me. All right, let me try. Let's take that one from the top, shall we?
Sure.
It's the most fun in the world to not be able to hear you, dudes.
All right, you got me back. Do we have Devin back?
I got you, but Devin was unable to join the call. I'm going to try and add him again.
Hello?
Unable to call.
Hello?
All right. He is online, but he's unable to join the call.
I'm not sure what's going on right now. I was just chuckling.
Oh, okay.
That's all I was doing because of the funny thing that Eli said.
I see. Gotcha.
Sometimes Eli's funny and I laugh a little bit.
I understand. I've been.
The preceding podcast was a production of Puzzle and a Thunderstorm LLC, copyright 2017, all rights reserved.
You bring your phone everywhere. Work, school, the movies. Now you can bring it to an Xfinity store for an easy way to switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new kind of network designed to save you money. You can get up to 5 lines of talk and text included with Xfinity Internet at no extra cost, so all you pay for is data. It's never been easier to switch to Xfinity Mobile and keep the phone you love. Click here to see how. Sorry, I gotta take this. Restrictions apply. Limited to select mobile phones. Requires activation of a new line of Xfinity Mobile. Up to 5 devices per account. New Xfinity Internet customers limited to up to 2 lines pending activation of Internet service.